He's Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach, joining us on the show following the win against Navy, and right now ranked 8th in the new rankings coming out tonight. What do you expect, Coach? Where do you expect to be tonight when the committee announces the new poll?
Not sure. I don't know where we were last time. I think one team in front of us lost, so maybe we move up one. But, for us, really, it's, not one that we're looking at, really. We've got a lot of work in front of us with Arizona State this week. And, we've got Northwestern, Louisville, USC. So we've got a lot of work in front of us that I think would change the rankings considerably, moving forward. So that's kind of what we're focused on.
Yeah, I said 8th. You're actually 10th with the college football committee. Can you have a bad win?
No, absolutely not. When you look at the teams that we've played, all of the games that we played this year are against, 1A teams, and we've had to play a lot of plays. I think that's one of the things, when you look at our schedule, playing Power 5 conferences and, the amount of plays that we have to play with our starters. Our guys are upwards of 550 to 600 plays where, some of the other teams that are ranked highly are really getting their third bye this week. So, for us, a win is something that we enjoy and we look to get better at the next week.
What team have you played that prepares you for Arizona State?
Well, defensively, Syracuse, very aggressive blitzing. Syracuse blitz us, probably about 70% of the game. So I would say Syracuse defensively and offensively, I would say they most resemble Florida State. Outstanding receivers, very good system. So I think that it's a combination of probably Syracuse's style of defense with Florida State's ability offensively.
Not having a conference title game, how much is that going to hurt you think, in the big picture, end of the year?
Well, I think that's why we set our schedule up, to play, the teams that we do play across the board. So we're relying on our schedule and not playing, anybody but FBS teams. And, the entirety of our schedule is what you need to look at. And so we're banking that, the way we put our schedule together, the 12 games that we play, is going to be able to stand up to not playing a conference championship game.
He's Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach, Arizona State, coming up this weekend, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I'm just not sure about, like the quality of wins, point differential. What do you think is a fair assessment of looking at a team, the teams they play, how much they win by? Because to me, I don't like that you keep your starters in and you're going to run up the score and win by 50 like it used to be. But is that what it comes down to in some cases?
Well, I hope it doesn't come down to that. Like I said, I think you have to look at all of the factors. I challenge anyone to play Navy. You've got to play a system of offense, and you've got to play your guys for 4 quarters of football, and play the variety of schedule that we do, where you've got to play in the Pac-12, you've got to play in the ACC, you've got to play in the Big Ten. We're playing a variety of different teams and defenses that you don't normally see. There's such you're so familiar with your opponents when you're playing in league. We're playing somebody that each and every week gives us a different challenge. And again, from our standpoint, we think that is a pretty robust schedule when you look at it. So that coupled with the fact that, again, I go back to, how can you count 1 AA wins when you're 7-1, against Power 5 wins, even though it might be an opponent that hasn't won a lot of games. They're just different wins, in my opinion.
How many times have you replayed that play against Florida State?
I think enough that I'm past it.
But if you did it again, though, Brian, and you ran the same play,
I wouldn't do anything differently.
Really?
I really wouldn't. I mean, our guy, their defender put their hands on our guy. We're trying to get off of it, and they interpreted it as that we were interfering, and we're not teaching our guys to interfere. There was contact on a play that's a bang bang play, and it was perceived in their eyes that we were trying to gain an advantage. We weren't trying to gain an advantage on the play.
But you ran that play in the first half, and it was okay, right? Basically the same play in the first half for a touchdown.
Yeah, we ran the same, very similar play. And again, I think if you look at it specifically, the guy that came open on the play, there was no contact with the defender who was covering Corey Robinson on that play. So there was no advantage given on the play. It was just an unfortunate situation, and we've handled it, and we're moved past it.
I always thought that if the defender engages you as the offensive guy, if you know you're not the primary target, you just put your hands up as if to say, I'm not impeding, I'm not doing anything, he's got a hold of me. That's not something that you teach in that situation?
Well, we didn't, we had hands on, they had hands on us. We were just trying to find our space in the end zone, and they saw that as that we were blocking. We never put our hands on the defender. But again, I guess the optics of the play was seen differently, and again, we've kind of gone to it as a staff. How would we do it differently? And there's not a whole lot we would do differently.
Still in your playbook?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You'll be running it this weekend.
Yeah, we'll run it again because we'll get some man coverage, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, good to visit with you, Brian. Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate having me on.
That's Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach.